Welcome to the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom podcast with Jacob Ayers, providing actionable content to help you along your journey to financial freedom through real estate investing. As the premier asset class, real estate has helped ordinary people just like you amass fortunes. The benefits of passive income from real estate investing will allow you to live a life you want. And now your host, entrepreneur, real estate investor, and apartment deal syndicator, Jacob Ayers.
Hi, and welcome to the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom podcast, episode 311. Hey, welcome back. This is Friday Fundamentals. I'm so glad you're here. I'm your host, Jacob Ayers. Hey, I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to listen to this podcast. I hope you're getting so much value from it. I'd like to give a shout out to a couple 5-star reviews in iTunes. This first 5-star review comes from Tony M. and says, "This podcast is quite simply amazing. I recently stumbled upon the podcast during quarantine, and I now listen to Friday Fundamentals multiple times because they are super inspiring. Jacob interviews well and is extremely attentive and knows exactly how to relay important information to his target audience in a way that's easy to understand. He also seems like a pretty down-to-earth guy just trying to help professionals like myself venture into real estate, and I think that's absolutely commendable. Also, I appreciate the written summary of each podcast as I like to save the notes for myself for future reference. Totally impressed. Great job." Now, I promise I didn't pay Tony to write that glowing review, but I did connect with Tony on a call recently. He reached out. He is doing awesome things, getting started along his real estate investing journey, just like so many others. So I appreciate all of those great reviews you guys are leaving. Well, with that, let's jump into this week's Friday Fundamental, adapting to change. So life as we know it lately has been completely turned upside down for most of us in at least some way or another. The way we travel, live, work, and even shop for groceries and other supplies has changed. But if we stop and think about it, the only thing that makes these changes seem like changes are the rate at which they're happening. You know, throughout our lives, things have changed drastically. 10 years ago, for instance, I didn't have an iPhone, much less was I requesting with said iPhone a stranger to track my location via GPS, show up at my front door in a car and take me to the airport, or what we today call ridesharing. Our world has evolved and changed in many ways in the past just 10 and even 20 years. The changes that technology, consumer behavior, and psychology have driven are quite simply just astounding. Now, Heraclitus, a Greek philosopher, said, "Change is the only constant in life." And yes, I did have to YouTube how to pronounce that name, so if I didn't get it right, let me know. It's how well we adapt to these changes that determine our success. In today's information age, you are either learning and growing or dying. I don't know about you, but I know which side of the fence I want to be on there. So what are you doing during these times of rapid change to keep up with an ever-changing world? Let's look at a few key things you can do to continue to change and grow. First is mindset. The most impactful thing I think you can do is to start with your mindset. Jim Quick has become a go-to resource for many people, including myself, looking to understand how their own mind works. In his book, Limitless, Jim dispels the myths that many people have around their own mindsets. We all have limiting beliefs. Addressing your limiting beliefs can be like cutting the ball and chain that has been weighing you down for so long. Just as powerful as our minds can be at reminding ourselves of those limiting beliefs, it too can be tricked into turning these limiting beliefs into empowering ones. So Jim outlines 3 keys to reframing your own limiting beliefs. First, name that limiting belief. This is the process of identifying your limiting belief and labeling it. Second get to the facts, as he says. When thinking about your limiting belief, look to the facts that support the belief. Chances are you won't find many facts. Instead, that limiting belief is just that, a belief, not a fact. And 3, create a new belief. With your newly identified limiting belief dispelled due to the lack of facts supporting it, you can create a new one. The second way to change and grow is to work on constant improvement with daily habits. The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg and Atomic Habits by James Clear are 2 great books on the topic. If you do what you've always done, you will get what you've always got. If you want to change your life, change your habits. These words have been said in various ways by so many great minds, and they ring true. If you want to become someone much different than you are now, then you can start now by forming just one little new habit. With an empowering mindset, you can build habits that shape your actions and in return will determine your future. John Soforic, author of The Wealthy Gardener, wrote, "Continuous effort, not strength or intelligence, is the key to unlocking our potential." And 3, find your passion and purpose. To change and adapt can be difficult if you don't know what to change or adapt to, right? But life is short and finite. In my opinion, do what brings you fulfillment. This concept of passion and purpose is one I'm still personally figuring out, so I'm no Dalai Lama here myself. I just think that exploring what you are passionate about and finding your purpose to use that passion in your own life and in others is an area in your life where growth is important. For more information on this subject, you can check out Jim Quick's interview with Jonathan Fields, which I'll link in the show notes here. And lastly, a bonus. This is a bit off topic here, but it's something I've been implementing lately in my own life, and that is the Pomodoro technique. The Pomodoro technique is a method for time management. It was created in the 1980s by, surprisingly, not a guy named Pomodoro, but rather Francesco Cirillo. The concept of the Pomodoro technique is to work in timed intervals, usually 25 minutes, taking short breaks in between each interval, called a Pomodoro. For example, you would first decide on a task, set a timer for 25 minutes, and work on that task uninterrupted until the timer rings. There are apps out there you can use, but I prefer to just simply set a timer on my phone, of course with all the other functions silenced, and work for uninterrupted intervals until I accomplish the task at hand. I've had surprisingly good results this week by using this technique, so try it out and let me know how you like it. So those are the few ways you can constantly grow and improve and change yourself. I'd love to hear your thoughts and if you have anything else that's helping you in your life. Well, with that wraps up this week's episode of Friday Fundamentals. Hey, I hope you're getting so much value from this podcast. If you like what you heard, please go over and leave a rating and review on whichever platform you're listening on. It means so much to the show. And if you ever want to connect with me, you can do so at www.jacobayers.com. Until next week, engineer the lifestyle you want.
You've been listening to the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom podcast, providing you actionable content to build your real estate empire. Nothing on this show should be considered specific, personal, or professional advice. Please consult an appropriate tax, legal, real estate, financial, or business professional for personal advice. The opinions of guests are their own. Information is not guaranteed. All investment strategies have a potential for profit or loss. The host is operating on behalf of the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom, LLC, exclusively.